Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys the pros and cons of each job that I have worked at and the reason why I have left some of these jobs. And just for reference, I am 18 years old and I have worked 8 jobs already. And I did started working when I was 15, and the reason why I decided to make this video is because I think it would be beneficial for teens who are looking for jobs to see which work environment will suit best for them, because I know when I started working, I did not know if I wanted to work retail, if I wanted to work fast food restaurant, or even a warehouse. And I feel like this will be beneficial for people to look at or hear about somebody else's experience so they don't have to go through that and then quit 2 months into the job and waste their time, if that makes sense. So if you want to hear my 2 cents of all the jobs that I had, keep watching. Okay, so I started working when I was 15 years old, and the first job that I ever worked was a restaurant in the airport. For the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the restaurant, but it was like a smoothie bar place, so they had smoothies, salads, and sandwiches. And the main reason why I applied for this job is because they paid $11 an hour. And most jobs who were hiring 15-year-olds were like fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and they were paying around like $8.25 an hour. So I thought if I got, hired at this airport, it would be a good start to my work career, because they paying $11 an hour. Mind you, they did pay bi-weekly, which kind of sucks, but $11 an hour is good money, especially since I was only working on the weekends because I still was in high school. So I thought this would be a good experience, well, first experience for me. After they had called me back, I had went in for an interview, but I did see on their website that you had to be 16 years old, and the main reason why I still applied is because I was going to turn 16 in the next 3 months. So I thought maybe I can, finesse my way into this, which I did. But at the interview, I did tell the man that I am 15 years old and is that going to be a problem? And he said no, since you're going to turn 16 in the next couple months, it shouldn't be a problem. So a couple pros about this job was the customers. They were really sweet, because I don't know if it's social anxiety, but I get really nervous talking to people. So maybe that is social anxiety, especially since I'm going to be talking to strangers and he was going to have me at the cash register. So I'm going to be talking to everybody who wants to order. And I never worked anywhere before, so the screen, like the computer screen that you had to tap to put their order in, was very new to me. So every time a new customer would come up and order their food, I would tell them, I'm new, can you like be a little patient with me? And they will be very patient and nice. And sometimes people will even give me tips. So that was really nice and really sweet. I also got to learn different ways to make food, smoothies, cut up stuff. So I had a really good experience there. Some of the cons of working there is it's very small, and only like 2 to 3 people work at a time up there. So it wasn't really type of job that you can make friends at. And most of the customers, they were, going on flights and stuff. So you won't have like regulars, if that makes sense. So you won't get to make a bond with the customers, which isn't a con, so to speak, but I was kind of lonely up there because I was the only teenager who worked up there. Most people was probably 20 years old plus. Another con is they were messing with my money. I was supposed to get paid 3 weeks after I started, because the week I came in, I was in the middle of their pay period, which made sense. I can't get paid the same week they got paid because I came in the middle of their pay period. So I had to wait an additional 2 weeks since the week I started. So I had to wait 3 weeks before I got my first check. And the week I was supposed to get my first check, they basically told me that the manager who deals with the money is on vacation. You can't get it until he comes back. I was like, okay, cool. So when he's supposed to come back? And they said next 2 months. No, I'm not about to be sitting here working for free for 2 months. That's dead. So I quit. I told my dad, and sooner or later I got my money. Let's just say that. So it was a cool, nice experience, but after they started playing with my money, I wasn't about to stay and work for free. So that was my first experience with a job. It was cool in the beginning, but they was trying me. Let's just put it that way. The second job that I ever got was McDonald's. And before you say anything, because I know McDonald's has a bad rep of working there and stuff, I feel like McDonald's was actually a cool ass job. I'm not gonna hold you. One, because they had hella teenagers there. So you made a whole bunch of friends. And it wasn't more so like a job. It was more so like you're going to school with your friends, if that makes sense. But I'm not gonna hold you. Not gonna hold you. It is stressful. It's stressful as fuck working there because McDonald's is, you know what I'm saying, not a, I was gonna say a high-end place. McDonald's is not high-end. Let's get that straight. But it's a well-known place. So a lot of people want McDonald's. It's easy, it's fast, it's cheap. So the lines do get busy fast, especially around lunchtime. The lines be out the door, baby. And I was a cashier, so people be trying you. People do be trying you, but you just got to keep your composure. And you know what I'm saying? If you do get to the point where you're about to cuss back at them, just walk away and go to the back and tell your manager, and they'll go up there and deal with it. But some of the pros, like I said, about working there is, one, I worked up there with my best friend, so we was up there chilling, and we had same shifts sometimes, so it was kind of cool like that. Two, like I said before, there's a lot of teenagers there, and you get to make a lot of new friends. Most of the adults, like the older people, they're mostly in the kitchen, so you're mainly working with, you know what I'm saying, the teenagers, because you have to be a certain age to work in the back, like with all the hot stuff and stuff, like with all like the stoves and like the deep fryers and stuff like that. Three, you get free food, depending on who your manager is, and if, you know what I'm saying, if they're chill or not. Most of the time, some of the managers won't let you get free food. They'll give you a discount, but if you have that cool manager, they'll let you get a drink for free or like a burger for free type shit. But some of the cons is, like I said, them customers, they be trying you. They really be trying you, and you just gotta keep your composure. Sometimes I'm not gonna hold you, I was gonna pop off, but I had to back off a little bit because, you know what I'm saying, I needed the job. Two, you do get stressed the fuck out. One, because some of the times the teenagers think, since, you know what I'm saying, y'all the same age, they don't gotta listen to you or they don't gotta help you out type shit. So you're basically doing stuff on your own sometimes, which is stressful that you're doing like 10 things at once. So that can be a little stressful. Three, they paid me $8.25. Mind you, I did work there, you know what I'm saying, 2 years ago, so the pay is a little higher now, but that $8.25 wasn't cutting it at all. After 2 weeks of working there, I worked probably like 30 hours, give or take, and I probably got paid not even $400 every 2 weeks, and that was not cutting it at all. So after a while, that stress of all the customers talking shit, all the stress of, you know what I'm saying, nobody helping me out, I ended up quitting because my mental health wasn't about to diminish over something that's not even paying me enough money to stay here. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I left McDonald's. My third job experience was at Panera Bread. And I'm not going to hold you, I did not know what Panera Bread was until my dad told me that my cousin worked up there and she was a manager and she was willing to hire me on. I was like, what is Panera Bread? And I looked it up. It's like a sandwich shop, if that makes sense. It's like a McAllister's, if you know what that is. The interview went good. Most of the cons about working there is they had me as a cashier, so I already know what that was from working at McDonald's. They paid $9.75, so I got paid $1 plus more working there at Panera. They did have a lot of teenagers there, so I did make new friends up there. But some of the cons is Panera is a place that you can customize your order how you want it, and they have coffee. So it's damn near like another Starbucks where you could customize your order. And I'm the type of person, at the time, I didn't know nothing about no coffee, none of that shit. So when they was giving me their orders, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where can I find this at? And their like menu options, like their spread of their menu on like how you supposed to type it in on like the pen pad, not the pen pad, like on the computer, is way different than McDonald's. Like McDonald's, if you want a burger, you get a burger. If you don't want mayonnaise on it, I take the mayonnaise off. But Panera is like a whole different thing. So I was a little confused. It took me a little while to get used to that. And then they make a lot of their stuff in-house, like their breads, their bagels. their pastries and stuff like that. So I had to get used to that as well. But overall, it was all good. The main con I had about working there is it wouldn't get busy until we had a convention, because I worked at the downtown Panera in Indianapolis. So if they had a big convention, like I'll say like a wrestling convention, like a wrestling championship meet, volleyball championship meet, or like an anime convention type shit, it would be lines out the door, because, you know what I'm saying, their moms and dads would bring like the whole team into Panera to eat, and it would be so busy in there. But the main reason why I left Panera is because I started working there around the time COVID happened. And when COVID happened, everything shut down. And when they opened back up, it wasn't as busy as it was before. So they'll let us go 2 hours into our shift. So I only work like 10 hours a week, and that wasn't cutting it at all. So I started applying to other places. And that's when I started working at the Old Spaghetti Factory, which is a restaurant. And I didn't know nothing about the Old Spaghetti Factory either, I'm not gonna hold you. It's like a fancy Italian restaurant that's downtown Indianapolis. And the main reason why I applied up there is because they pay weekly, and they pay $11 an hour. So I was like, I've never had a weekly paying job, and I spend these bi-weekly checks in a week, and the next week I'm just out of money. So I felt like this would be good for me. So I went up there, I got hired on. And the main con about that is they have a dress code. You have to wear a button up, you have to wear slacks and like black shoes. And I was the type of person where I didn't have no dressy clothes, so I had to go out and buy me clothes, which wasn't that big of a deal, because I had like 3 or 4 button ups that I just rotate around, because I only worked on the weekends and sometimes during the week if I felt like it. But the main reason why well, let me give you some of the pros before I tell you why I left. Some of the pros about working there is you really aren't doing anything, because I was a host, so it was really slow, because like I said, it was around the time of COVID, like stuff was opening back up, but people were still kind of iffy if they wanted to come into restaurants and sit down. So I was mainly up front on my phone watching movies. I would talk to some of my co-workers, like a host. If they put 2 hosts up there at a time, then I'll talk to the person who's up there with me. But most of the time they only have 1 host on a shift, because nobody was coming in anyway. So why pay for 2 hosts to be here if you only need 1, if that makes sense. So I would be up there on my phone most of the time. And yeah, the main reason why I left is because, like Panera, nobody was coming in, so they'll let me go. Literally, I will walk in at 2 o'clock and they'll let me go by 3. And at the time I didn't have a car, so my dad would come pick me up, and he was like, no, this is not gonna work. I'm not about to drop you off and then come pick you back up an hour later. You feel what I'm saying? When I was supposed to work a good 8-hour shift. So that's why I left the Old Spaghetti Factory. And after I left the Old Spaghetti Factory, I went and I started working at TJ Maxx. No, I lied. After I stopped working at the Old Spaghetti Factory, I left and started working at Marshall's. Now, Marshall's is a retail store. If you don't know, it's connected with TJ Maxx and Home Goods. I started working at Marshall's because they paid weekly as well, and they paid $10 an hour. But I was like, even though Old Spaghetti Factory paid 11, I'll get more hours working at Marshall's. You feel what I'm saying? Because people are actually going into stores to buy clothes, especially at Marshall's, because Marshall's is cheap clothes, but they have like name brands. Most of the time, if a clothing item has a malfunction, or like a thread missing, or if there's something a little wrong with it, they'll give it to Marshall's to have them sell it for a lower price. So I started working there. It was real chill. I really didn't do nothing but clean around the store. Sometimes they'll put me on register. The customers were alright. Some of them were nice, some of them were Karens, but you know what I'm saying, you learn to deal with it. The one thing that I could say is around Christmas time is when it got really hectic, and that's when managers started tripping for real. And they got real strict on like your headphones, on how you talk to people. They got real strict on like the break room situation, because the people at Marshall's, if you were on the floor cleaning up, most of the time they'll clean up for 30 minutes and I'll go to the back, sit in the break room for about 20, come back, clean for 30 minutes, go to the back room and sit in the break room for another 20 minutes. And Marshall's was a type of place where in the break room they'll always have chips stocked up, popcorn, drinks, you know what I'm saying, ice cream, frozen dinners, because they know some people don't have the money to go buy lunch every day. So they will have like snacks in the back always. So if you was on the floor and you went to the break room, you was back there eating most of the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I did that a couple times, which is like, it was kind of bad because, you know what I'm saying, you're not supposed to do that. But it's like some days you really don't feel like working, or you have a headache, or you just need to sit down for a couple of minutes. So that happened. The main reason why I left Marshall's is because it was 30 minutes away from my house, and around this time is when I started driving. And my dad basically told me that since you're working and you're driving my car, you're going to have to be starting putting gas in the car. And I was like, that's a good $50 a tank, like $50 a week that I have to put in this car. So I need to start working somewhere that's close by my house. Like I said before, TJ Maxx and Marshalls are the same company, and I had a TJ Maxx literally 10 minutes from my house. So I said, I'm gonna just transfer to TJ Maxx, especially since all my friends that have been working at Marshalls are finna leave as well. So why am I staying here? You feel what I'm saying? So I transferred to that TJ Maxx, which was a bad decision. But I went up there. I really didn't have to go through training. I went up to that TJ Maxx and I really didn't have to go through training because it's basically the same thing. I just have to learn where everything is, because obviously it's not the exact same store. They don't have everything in the same places. So it was really easy getting to know that environment, you know what I'm saying, working up there. Some people that were enrolled into my high school was working up at TJ Maxx, so I really made friends pretty easily up there. But around the time that I started working at TJ Maxx, I did graduate high school. And when I graduated high school, I decided that I wasn't going to go to college that same year. I was going to take me a gap year. So that whole summer, I was working up at TJ Maxx. I was liking it because, like I said, there was a lot of teenagers there. But around the time August came back up, those teenagers had went back to school. So I was starting to work with all the older people. So it was like kind of boring type. And the managers were playing me, if that makes sense. I'm not going to get into much detail with that. But yeah, I really didn't like it anymore. So I decided that since my best friend was working at Walmart, that I was gonna apply for Walmart. Plus she said they were paying $14, and at TJ Maxx, like I said before, I was getting paid $10. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna apply for Walmart. And she was doing like the online orders, like the OGP. She was doing OGP, so she was like, it's real easy, it's chill, you know what I'm saying, you'll really like it. And plus you need the money since you're, you know, in your bag this whole gap year and you're trying to figure out what you want to do. You need to get your bread up so you can get you a car. So I said, you know what, cool, that makes sense. And you know what I'm saying, this is what I need right now. So I worked up there at Walmart for the first, I'll say 2 months. It was easy, chill, and we really didn't do nothing. We left early, all that extra shit, right? Like every job, it's just so peachy clean, peaches and cream the first couple weeks. And that's when shit started hitting the fan. I tell you, Walmart was probably the worst job I ever had. Walmart was probably the worst job I ever had. So all that stuff you be seeing on TikTok of people crying in their car because they want to leave Walmart is true, because Walmart is not a place you want to build your career on if that's what you are planning on doing type shit. So basically, the reason why the online OGP orders were so easy in the beginning is because people really wasn't ordering their groceries online. It was basically like a new thing that was going on, so people really didn't know about ordering their food online. So people, it was limited, if that makes sense. So after a while, people got the gist of, oh, I can order food online, or I could pick it up and have like other people pick my items and I could just pick it up, or I could have DoorDashers deliver it to my house. So after a while, it just got worse and worse. And it got to the point where I was the only one in the room who had to pick, like who had to bring the groceries all the way out to their car. And it got so stressful to the point where I just couldn't do it no more, and I just quit because I'm not about to be doing this by myself. Like, if you need, like, they should schedule more people, if that makes sense. Like, it was so stressful. So I quit working. No, actually, I got fired. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I got fired because it got to a point where I was in there by myself for a good 2 hours, and the manager came in when the night shift people came in and basically asked me, why are people sitting outside for a good 2 hours and like they haven't got their order? People are calling the store saying that they're mad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, do you know that I'm in here by myself and I gotta bring 200 plus items to somebody's car, and I can't do that all by myself? Like, it's going to take time. It's going to take me a good 5 minutes for each car. So I'm sorry that it's taking, you know what I'm saying, this much time, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, why are you in here by yourself? Who keeps leaving, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can't you figure that out yourself? If you see I'm in here in a room, who else do you have scheduled? You feel what I'm saying? Where are they at? Like, I was just hot. Instead of me arguing with her back and forth, I was just quiet because it's like, I'm not about to sit here and argue with you. So she was like, since you're not gonna tell me who was supposed to be in here, you can hand me your vest and leave. So that's exactly what I did. I handed her my vest and I left because what are you talking about? So I started working at Walmart, and after a couple of months, I decided you need a job because you need money. So I started applying for warehouse jobs, and I really didn't want to work like a full-time warehouse job because they have I've heard a lot of horror stories about warehouse jobs, how they overwork you, enslave you, and all this extra stuff. So I had hit up my friend. I was basically like, I know you work at Amazon, how do you feel about it? Do you think I should work up there? And she was like, it's cool, whatever, but if you do work up there, work a flex shift. So I'm like, what's a flex shift? She said, basically you get to make your schedule every week. That's all you have to say, baby. Because if you work full-time at Amazon, that you have to work you have to work these days that they give you, these hours. But flex shift, you get to pick how many days you want to work, and the hours, you just have to have 30 hours a week, if that makes sense. And plus they had a $3,000 sign-on bonus. So I was like, you know what, this is cool, this is chill. I never worked a warehouse job before. The one thing that I would say about Amazon that would make a lot of people quit is that your training days. You have to be in training. Well, I had to be in training from 7 to 6 for 3 days. So you have to watch training videos for 10 hours for 3 days. I did not know that. All they told me was I had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's it. They didn't tell me when I had to leave. And then when I got up there, it said that we're gonna be here until 6 p.m. I said, what? Mind you, the night before, I barely got any sleep. So I was tired. I was sleeping through the videos. Like, it was so exhausting. But I'm still at Amazon. One thing I can't say about it is boring. It gets repetitive because all I'm doing is picking shoes. Like, what else? How more interesting could that be? And it's like I'm not talking to people because I'm on an OP, which is an order picker, which is like a big old truck that I'm driving around the warehouse. So I'm not like walking around picking items, if that makes sense. And I can't like talk to people because I'm basically in my own, not own world, but like my own lane, if that makes sense. So it's not like I can make friends. Plus I'm not the type of person who's going to come up and talk to you anyway. But yeah, those are all the 8 jobs that I have worked. And if you want my opinion on where you should work, I feel like everybody should at least work one food job. If that's a restaurant, if that's fast food. One, because it will change your mindset of how you treat people who work in the food industry. I also feel like you should work retail because it will also change your mindset of how you treat people who deal with your clothes and your shoes and the way you talk to them, because you've been through that experience. You know what they go through, so you'll have a little bit more patience with them, if you feel what I'm saying. Now, warehouse, you can take that how you want to. They pay good. They pay really good at a warehouse, but I won't say slave you, because I'm in the position where I can make my own schedule, and I'm at a warehouse where it's super duper easy. I don't work at like those Amazons where they deal with, you know what I'm saying, like the heavy stuff, or like the tables and the chairs and the iPhones and the, you know what I'm saying, AirPods and stuff like that, because those warehouses, you can't bring your iPhone or AirPods back while you're working because you can potentially switch it out and like steal it, if that makes sense. But since I only deal with shoes, I can bring my stuff back there. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.